We are now in the holiest week of the year, which is why it's called Holy Week. But what exactly is going on this week, and what does it matter to my own faith, my own discipleship? That's what we're going to be talking about today on Ignition. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Dr. Chris Bergwald, and we want to set your faith ablaze so that you might live the adventure that comes from a relationship with Jesus Christ. Before we get into the topic of Holy Week, we want you to know that we love listener feedback. So if you have questions about this episode, if you have ideas for future episodes, please contact us. The easiest way to do so is by email, and the address is ignition@sfcatholic.org. Again, ignition@sfcatholic.org. I was going to say email at sfcatholic.org.
I was going to say, did you forget it for a second?
I just said it like a second ago. And I'm joined in studio as often, almost always, by Renae Kranz. Hi, Renae.
Hi, Chris.
Renae, tell the listener, tell me about who are you sitting across from me. But for the listeners who maybe haven't heard you on the show before, who are you?
Yeah, I am the editor of the Bishop's Bulletin and the interim director for the Catholic Diocese. I am married to Ryan for 18 years. Yeah, 18 years. It'll be 19 this year. 18 years.
2002.
Yeah. Let's see. I am from Watertown originally. And Ryan is from Watertown originally as well. So when we got married, we lived in Rapid City when we were engaged and so on. Both of us lived there. And we came home and got married at Holy Rosary in Kranzberg. Shout out to Holy Rosary. Before they redid the church, but it's still a beautiful place to get married.
So you got married, Ryan and
Renae at Holy Rosary.
Ryan and Renae Kranz got married at Holy Rosary in Kranzberg.
Of course. And, actually, Mother Mary was the priest was Father Baumberger, who married us. And he said something about that Mary was intimately involved in our marriage because our parish at Rapid City is Our Lady of Perpetual Help, the cathedral there. And the day we got married was some sort of Marian feast, I believe.
Okay.
So,
way
to go, Mary.
What's your anniversary?
And Holy Rosary is, of course.
Right. What's your feast day?
June 8th.
Oh.
He said it was some sort of Mary thing, and I don't know what that is.
Oh, no, it's possible, depending on 2002, I'm not sure. But that could have been it was a Saturday, I'm guessing. You got married on Saturday. Could have been the Feast of the Immaculate Heart of Mary.
Oh, yeah.
That moves
so. Okay.
because it's the day after the Sacred Heart, and the Sacred Heart that sort of follows. It's based on when Easter falls.
That would make sense then.
So it's possible. I don't know that there's June 8th is a standing Marian feast. It may have been.
I don't think it is because I think I've looked at that and I'm like, there's no Marian feast there.
Right. I bet that's what it was.
Confused.
I bet you can look and see when was the Feast of the Immaculate Heart of Mary in 2002.
Yeah.
And it may have been June 8th.
Yeah.
Wow, that was a lot.
So anyway, yeah. So anyway, Mary's a big part of our life. Yeah.
There you go. And Mary's a big part of Holy Week. So segue.
Yes.
so when you think of Holy Week, and this is not going to be like quiz. This is just to sort of set the stage and enter into the topic for this week. When you think of Holy Week, what comes to mind for you, Renae? Just you personally.
For me personally, it's the different masses and so on that are going on. Probably my favorite part of Holy Week actually happens outside of Mass. It's the stripping of the altar after Holy Thursday Mass. And not everybody always stays for that. Depending on your parish, sometimes they'll do it before everybody leaves. Sometimes everybody leaves and then they do it. We always stay because that's kind of a really moving thing for me. I don't know why.
So I'm gonna make a little note here. The stripping of the altar. So we'll come back to anything else. So stripping of the altar. Any other elements of Holy Week, particularly?
I always remember as a kid going to the Good Friday Mass and having the veneration of the cross.
Okay.
And as a kid, I always thought it was kind of, I'm going to say this, weird.
Yeah, that you kiss a crucifix.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So pop
I don't think it's weird
quiz. Pop stupid quiz now.
Okay.
What's the first Mass in Holy Week?
Well, I would guess it is Palm Sunday Mass.
So what's the second?
Holy Thursday Mass.
No.
Well, then it must be Monday's daily Mass.
And what's so?
We're going to go down the list. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
So let's work backwards now. What's the last day of Holy Week?
That'd be.
Well, yeah, okay, ish.
Is it Saturday Vigil?
Well,
Or is it actually Good
I'm going to
Friday?
include. Well, no, it'd be. Well, what's the Saturday called?
Well, it's the Vigil Mass.
What do you know what the Saturday's called?
I can't think of it.
Holy Saturday. Holy Week, Holy Saturday. But what's Friday called, Renae?
Holy Spirit is not doing his job and helping me not look stupid
Friday.
today.
Friday.
Friday is Good Friday.
Right. Thursday.
Holy Thursday.
Or
Yes, I know there's another one, and I can't think of that either.
Monday.
There, thank you.
Wednesday.
Monday, Thursday. Wednesday?
Or
Wednesday?
so Holy Wednesday or Spy Wednesday.
I've not heard that.
Ooh. So we'll talk about
Like
that.
SPY?
Correct. As
Okay.
opposed to what? Okay.
Could be Latin for something. I have no idea.
Tuesday, I just learned in preparation for today's episode, Tuesday, sometimes not common at all. And to be honest, I don't know, like it might be the Eastern Orthodox who tend to call it this, but some people call Holy Tuesday, we just call it Holy Tuesday, it has no nickname. But maybe some Catholics, I'm not sure, but they call it Fig Tuesday.
I have heard that. Now that
Really?
you say that, yes. I have a
Do you
couple
know
of
why
cousins.
it's called Fig Tuesday?
No, but I have a couple cousins who are very liturgically inclined, and so
So we'll talk about why it's called Fig Tuesday, and then Holy Monday. So, so what's all right? So I want to start so that we went backwards. So, again, what's Sunday called? The first one,
Palm Sunday.
or it's another P word.
Passion? No, it's not passion. Is it?
Yes, go with
Okay.
it. Go with it. Say
Passion
it, say
Sunday?
It.
What?
Yes. Now say it with at least a period.
Well,
if
you know
not
what?
an
Because we
exclamation
do
point.
read the Passion.
Yes, we do.
I've always found that so weird, but I suppose it's because Thursday.
You found it weird that we read the
because
Passion?
we read it again on Thursday.
No,
but
not
it's not a
Thursday.
holy day.
Nope.
Well, okay, Friday, whichever
Yes.
Friday, but those aren't holy days, so I
Correct.
suppose that's why they do it Sunday.
So we're. I think I was
I think I've jumped on
imagining
all of them.
I was imagining we were going to progress in a very linear, but the way the Spirit's moving
You
in this
didn't tell me
episode.
that.
No, but I started forward, then I went backwards, so it's us,
Okay.
not just
Okay,
you.
good.
It's me, not you, Renee. So Holy Week begins with Palm or Passion Sunday. Why is it called Palm Sunday? I mean,
That is when Jesus entered Jerusalem and the crowds laid the palms in the street and so on.
So sort of it began when it happened, and then for us we commemorate it when we commemorate it liturgically. It's a proclamation, a recognition of Jesus as the Messiah, the long-awaited Jewish Messiah. So as he's coming in, it's sort of like almost like a royal procession,
Right.
in a sense. Now the crowds turn within a few days. We know
That
pretty
amazes
quickly.
me too. Yeah.
People. Fickle.
So fickle.
So fickle. So Palm Sunday, Passion Sunday is the beginning of Holy Week. Now, in the U.S., the United States, there's a tradition that even going back to the fifth Sunday in Lent, images are covered.
Right.
So Passion Tide is the name given to the last 2 weeks of Lent, Holy Week and the week before. The fifth week of Lent, I think, but don't quote me for sure. So the images are covered. So we get to Palm Sunday, Passion Sunday. It's red now, though, the purple,
Right.
but now the week is red.
So does that start on Palm Sunday?
Yes.
I don't remember. Okay.
Yes. So this is, for us today, the holy, as I said at the beginning, it's holiest week of the year. That's why it's called Holy
Holy
Week.
Week.
That's why most of the days are called Holy Blank Day.
Right.
So it's the holiest week of the year, and in particular, again, this is kind of jumping around a little bit, and then we'll progress through. The holiest, the most sacred part of the church year falls. It's not the entire week; it's a specific part of the week. Do you know what I'm talking? Do you know what I'm talking about there? It's a T word.
The Triduum.
Yes.
I don't know if I say that right.
Yes, Triduum, not Tridium sometimes, but it's Triduum.
I've heard Triduum.
Yeah, Triduum. 3 days. So the sacred Triduum, the holiest 3 days. It starts, and it's sort of following the Jewish reckoning of a day from sundown to sundown the following day.
Yep.
So it starts Holy Thursday at sunset.
Okay.
So day 1 ends with Good Friday sunset. Day 2 ends with on Holy Saturday sunset, and day 3 Holy or Easter Sunday sunset. So the Triduum, it's
I'm
not
always
Thursday,
thinking
Friday,
Thursday, Friday,
Saturday. Yeah, it's actually Thursday night, Friday, Saturday,
And Sunday.
Most of Sunday.
Okay.
Yep. So those are because in that we see, and again, we're sort of already going all over the place
all over the place.
the Mass of the Lord's Supper. The Good Friday liturgy. It's not a mass. We often say that.
Right.
You called it that earlier, but that's okay.
Well, and that's why they always hold. They usually do. They consecrate a lot of hosts on Thursday.
So we'll talk about the Good Friday liturgy again in a bit. The Easter Vigil. So there's no Saturday. Some parishes might have. You can do a Saturday morning mass every day of the year except
Holy Saturday.
Holy Saturday. There's no morning mass.
Okay.
And then, of course, the Easter Sunday masses. So this is the holiest time of the year. So this is the peak, the pinnacle of our church year. After the Triduum, of course, is Christmas and then Pentecost. So we begin Holy Week, though, with Palm Sunday, Passion Sunday, where, as you already said, why is it called that? It's because this is when the Passion is read. Yes, it's also read on Good Friday, but Good Friday is not obligatory. So it's actually Palm Sunday, Passion Sunday, the beginning of Holy Week, when Catholics hear the entire Passion narrative proclaimed.
Okay, I have a question about that.
Yep.
Do they read the same one on Sunday and Friday?
No.
Is Friday
Good
always
question.
a certain one?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you
Is
want
that
to guess?
John's?
Yes.
Okay.
Ding, ding, ding,
And
ding.
then Sunday then rotates.
Between Matthew, Mark, and Luke. So listeners might be aware or not that in the Catholic Church, the Sunday Bible readings at Mass rotate over a 3-year cycle, and the Gospels rotate through Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. So it's called Year A, Matthew, Year B, Mark, Year C, Luke. We're in Year B for Mark.
Yep.
So this year on
On Passion Sunday.
Passion Sunday, Palm Sunday, which was yesterday as people are listening to this, you heard it was Mark's account of the Passion. And then on Friday, Good Friday, every year, we hear John's account. Okay. Why does the church put before us it's a long reading. We even get to sit down nowadays.
We are way too weenie.
Why does the church do that, do you think, Renae?
Well, if I had to guess, because it's good for us. That's what my mother would say. It's good for you.
This is obviously the week when we're commemorating Jesus' death on the cross. And so the church has us here, listen to, and even participate in the proclamation. This is the one time where it's, whatever.
You have parts.
Parts. And it doesn't have to be that way. By the way, it's a common custom in most parishes in the U.S., but it wouldn't have to be that way.
Do they do that
I think
in
it's
other
easier
areas?
for the priest or deacons, so they don't have to read the whole thing.
Yeah.
No.
Do they do that like in Europe and stuff too?
Yep, they also do it there.
Okay.
It's pretty common, but it's not required.
Right. Okay.
So because we're commemorating Jesus' death, we hear the entire account of his passion from the Garden of Gethsemane all the way through to his death.
Right.
Then, of course, we wait with the resurrection until the vigil. So it's proclaimed. But we begin with the account of his triumphant entry into Jerusalem at the beginning of the week. So that's why it is the Palm Sunday. And oftentimes there's a procession. That can be done different ways.
And there's actually 2 Gospels then,
It
right?
is 2 Gospels. Yeah. And usually it's Matthew's account for the
entry.
For the entry. Yep. So Palm Sunday, we've got that beginning with the proclamation of the gospel and of Jesus' triumphant entry in Jerusalem, and then a procession with the palms. Then Mass continues pretty much as normal, except you have the entire Passion account. So that sets the stage for Holy Week. Monday, you can read the readings, but there's nothing particularly. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, even though Tuesday and Wednesday have nicknames, the liturgies, it's a normal daily Mass, if you will, except it's during Holy Week. Tuesday is called Fig Tuesday because when you read the Gospels, it was on Tuesday of the original Holy Week. Jesus going into Jerusalem passes by the fig tree.
That's why.
And that's the one, I think it's the one where it was a brain fruit, so he curses it at the end of the day.
Oh, okay.
Wednesday is called Spy Wednesday. Go ahead.
So why would we want to commemorate the fig tree
Well, it's
that got cursed?
again,
I
it's
don't
not formally
understand.
called. If you look at the official, it's not formally called that. It's a nickname. Okay. Yeah. Because why? Because that's what happened on. What's notable about that day? That's when Jesus.
I'm going to see if I can stump any priest with that one.
There we go. I didn't know.
That seems fun.
Wednesday of Holy Week, or Spy Wednesday, because this is when Judas seemingly makes the final decision to betray Jesus.
Okay.
And then Monday, do you know why Holy Thursday is called Monday, Thursday?
I know I've heard this before, but I don't remember.
It comes, I'm pretty sure, and people will correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm willing to just go with my pretty sure level of confidence. Monday from Mandatum, where Jesus gives the command to the apostles, serve one another as I've loved one another as I've loved you. So on Holy Thursday, we would commemorate the establishment of the New Testament priesthood.
Oh, okay.
And the Eucharist.
Right.
So I believe it's in regard to that.
Okay.
I didn't confirm that before we recorded.
Get your books out, people.
I might be wrong.
See if you can
send me a hate mail. Ignition. R. Kranz. No. Ignition at SFCatholic.org. If I'm wrong about that, feel free to correct me, and I will correct myself in a future episode. So we get but it's on Thursday. Formally, there's 2 masses on Holy Thursday. Actually.
Okay.
Aha.
I did not know that.
The Chrism Mass, which can be celebrated earlier in our diocese, like many geographically large dioceses, it's celebrated earlier in Lent. So our diocese, it's for years it's been celebrated actually 2 weeks before. Mm-hmm. The reason for that is a very practical one. So if on Holy Thursday itself, if you had the Chrism Mass in the morning, like our diocese, some priests, it's a 4-hour drive to Sioux Falls.
They'd have to literally drive all their oils back before Mass in the evening.
It'd be a tough, and with all the logistics that have to be done for the Triduum. So the church gives freedom to celebrate. Chrism Mass, which particularly celebrates the institution of the priesthood in a particular way. And priests renew their, and I think deacons as well. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. They renew their promises, which they make as Catholic deacons and priests. But the Mass of the Lord's Supper is when things really begin. That Mass is notable for at least a couple reasons. When you think of the Mass of the Lord's Supper, Holy Thursday night, what are the differences?
Well,
you're talking about one, the stripping of the altar at the end.
And then the washing the feet.
Well, yeah, the washing of the feet. Jesus' gesture of, I came not to be served, but to serve. Right. So the washing of the feet, again, that's optional as well. Sometimes, for a variety of reasons, parishes may not do that, but it's commonly done. So you have the washing of the feet, and then you have something really interesting. So before we get to the stripping of the altar, the Mass ends with the procession of the Eucharist out of the church.
Right. And they sing that beautiful, what is it? What is it they sing? I
don't know.
The chant they sing.
Is it always the same chant?
I think so.
Tantum ergo sacramentum.
Yes.
Yeah, so one of the Eucharistic chants. So what's fascinating, so pay attention, folks, this year, if you're listening to this before we get to Holy Thursday, there is not the typical blessing and dismissal.
Right.
Because in a sense, and so just to, again, briefly look ahead to Good Friday. Good Friday does not start with the greeting and the sign of the cross. And it doesn't end with a blessing and dismissal. So Holy Thursday, the Mass of the Lord's Supper, the Good Friday liturgy, and then the Easter Vigil all sort of form almost one liturgical action.
Okay.
And you see that in that Mass Thursday night doesn't have the typical ending, and on Good Friday there's not the normal beginning or conclusion.
So does Saturday? Does that
Saturday
have a different?
I think there is a greeting, so
Saturday
it doesn't get thrown off. But it shows how what Jesus did in the upper room with the Last Supper and the establishment of the Mass is tied to what he does on Good Friday, is tied to what happens late Saturday, early Sunday morning.
Right.
So the establishment of the Mass, his crucifixion and death, and his resurrection, all historically, in a sense, constituted one action.
Right.
And now they are.
Wow, that's
renewed in that way as well.
That's
Folks,
really cool.
If you're just tuning in, you're listening to Ignition. I'm your host, Dr. Chris Bergwald. Renae Kranz and I are talking about Holy Week, and we're just getting now to the good part, which is good because we're coming to the end. So we got to get here.
Hurry.
Yeah, so you were saying it's cool.
That is, yeah. I didn't really realize that. Well, because, thank goodness they don't make us actually maybe I shouldn't say that, stay in the church the entire time.
Right,
but
right.
maybe it'd be okay too.
Right.
But that's really interesting. I hadn't really thought of it that way before. But I mean, for most of the time, we always try to go to both Thursday and Friday.
Yep.
It just doesn't seem like Easter and Holy Week if you don't, at least for us.
Right, right. Yeah, so it's pretty common. I mean, again, they're not obligatory, but
Right.
obviously many Catholics are encouraged to do so. Now, this year is not quite completely normal, but do you remember last year, Holy Week, by the way?
Yeah, I do.
Because why?
Because we didn't have public masses.
We did not have public masses.
I was fortunate enough to be able to come to because I had to help record TV Mass
Right.
for Holy Thursday.
Right, right.
So I was able to watch the stripping of the altar.
Right,
in
right.
the cathedral.
Yep, yep.
It was
back when
that was a
live
bummer.
streams were still new.
Well, not for
Newish.
us.
That's true. By that point, yeah. So we're back sort of in church for most of us, and not everybody's maybe able to come yet. But to enter into now that the Triduum with Holy Thursday. So I too love. So what some of the things that I love, a common practice. So what happens to Jesus? He's processed out, and then what? Do you know? On Holy Thursday night.
Where does it go? Well,
You mean him?
I think he goes to like the Adoration Chapel at Holy Spirit, for instance.
Yeah, so
doesn't he?
either the chapel or a makeshift chapel.
Okay.
So St. Lambert's sort of it's the kind of the cry room at my
Sure.
parish, but that becomes a makeshift chapel.
But they do like adoration through
the
whole time.
The evening,
Yeah.
it varies parish to parish, 10 or 10, 11, 12. Now, a custom in some places, like Rome, a beautiful custom where people will, so we did this the 3 years that I studied in Rome. After Mass and Holy Thursday, people will make visits to Jesus in the Eucharist in different churches.
Oh, wow.
So you would walk, and Rome, there's obviously, I mean, you kick.
You can't turn a corner without it.
Yeah.
It's like a Dunkin' Donuts in
Right.
Rome.
There's a Dunkin'
Yes.
Donuts in Rome, but then it went out of business because
okay.
the coffee. But this custom of making visits, so people will go pray at their parish. But I know, like obviously, cities where there's multiple churches, you
Right.
can do this as well. People make visits to multiple churches. So, and then Jesus, in a sense, remains hidden. Eucharistically speaking, he's not put back in the tabernacle. So we walk into Mass, to church on Good Friday, and it's not a Mass. So just real briefly, we know from going, maybe if you've never been before, you wouldn't necessarily know. We have again the reading of the Palm of the Passion, but John's account, as we discussed earlier, and we have the kissing of the cross, the veneration of the cross, remembering Jesus' sacrifice for us. We have the petitions. But this is not a Mass.
Right.
It's a liturgy, but it's the one day of the year where the Mass is not celebrated. We receive communion.
Like
so this
anytime that day. Right.
anytime that day. So we do receive Holy Communion. There's a communion rite as part of the Good Friday liturgy. But the sacrifice of the Mass, the representation of Jesus' passion, death, and resurrection
It's not,
is not prayed.
It makes sense.
On
Yeah.
Good Friday. We pause that this one day of the year as we're remembering his death that happened on the Friday of
Right.
Holy Week.
Right.
Now, a lot of parishes will do stations that night. Sometimes there's a tenebrae service, a reading, another reading of the gospel with candles and so on. And so Good Friday, of course, is a day of abstinence from meat, but also of fasting as well. And then we enter into Holy Saturday. And Holy Saturday is sort of like an interesting day because its mood is somber, but the vigil is coming that night. But during the day, there's no... that somebody's dying, they can receive the sacraments, anointing the sick.
But there's no weddings, there's no funerals, there's no nothing. Yeah.
Yep. So we get to the vigil, but then the vigil is like the I don't know, the big show of the church year.
Mass ever.
Where you have all the readings, which is just, we hear potentially, I think you can hear 6 Old Testament readings and 6 Psalms. Most parishes don't do that because it'd be 3 to 4 hours.
The cathedral does that though, don't they?
I don't know if they do all, they might, or is it, I think it's 6. But we hear the story of salvation from the very beginning.
Right.
So there's certain ones that have to be read, like the creation account, like the Exodus. Reading from the Psalms, so we hear what God has done. But it begins before that with that with the candles, and they're spread throughout. But most churches it stays dark until we get to the Gloria, which is said for the first time, and you have New Testament letter, and then the resurrection account. What is that word?
Yeah.
We'll talk more about that next week. But we end, if you will, Holy Week per se, with the Easter Vigil celebrating Jesus' death. Although technically that's really beginning of Easter week, but
right. And usually that's when new confirmands into the church are brought in.
So you get the readings, and then people baptisms, confirmations. People brought into the church as adults, sometimes even as children.
Yeah, that was my only experience with Easter Vigil, was because my sister-in-law was getting confirmed, so we had to go.
Right. So you're not a regular vigil goer.
I am not a regular vigil goer.
We love the vigil. And this will go back to when Jermaine and I were in college at Franciscan University of Steubenville. They'd have a resurrection party after the vigil.
Oh, wow.
Steubenville, when I was there, it's probably still the same. Steubenville's vigil was 4 hours long.
Oh, yeah. Well, the one in Rapid that I went to was three and a half.
Well, for the record, in St. Peter's, because I've been to St. Peter's in Rome, it's 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
So Steubenville's vigil is even longer than the
really
Pope's, for goodness sake.
out.
But then they have a big party. So we do that at home, actually. This is just a little bit about the Bergwald house. We have a resurrection party, all sorts of the things we gave up all Lent, like the food things, sweets,
like
snacks,
you gorge
that sort of
on
thing.
those or what?
Not gluttonously so, but we enjoy those things that we sacrificed.
I'm eating chocolate again.
Yes, exactly. And then, of course, now we're getting beyond Holy Week into Easter Sunday. So we spent all of the episode talking about what happens, but it's the holy, as I said earlier, it's the holiest week of the year, because this is when we're commemorating Jesus' passion, death, and then the beginning of the resurrection. So this year, we really want to invite you, listeners. Hopefully you're able to go to Mass, depending where you're listening to this. If you can't, maybe spend time with the readings and the prayers of the Mass. You can find them all over the place online or in devotionals like Magnificat. But enter anew and renew or deepen your relationship with Jesus Christ. Know him as your Lord and Savior. Recognize his great love for you, that he died on the cross and rose again for your salvation. And that will wrap up this episode of Ignition. Again, you can email us at ignition@sfcatholic.org with any thoughts, questions, or ideas for future episodes. And until next time, may God bless you.